right. Welcome into A Toasted Film, everyone. I'm one of your hosts, Trey.
And I'm one of your hosts, E Bo.
And we have a good, exciting episode for y'all today.
You know what, Trey? Do you hear Mariah Carey defrosting?
Oh, I heard her about 2 weeks ago defrosting.
Because we're starting to get in the Christmas spirit. Because tonight we will be discussing Red One.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a good one? Is it a bad one? We'll find out. And also, Little Miss Massey, Spencer herself, gave us a fantastic list idea where we're going to be telling y'all our naughty and nice when it comes to filling Christmas list. What movies get us in the mood and what movies we see and we're like, just go away.
We don't want a part of it.
She doesn't want to talk to you.
Right.
But real quick, before we get into that, we're toasting with this wonderful brainchild of Trey.
Yes.
We have the Old Smoky Snickerdoodle, and we have spiked this hot chocolate. It's a Cinnamon Toast Crunch hot chocolate.
Yeah.
Trey, what do you think?
It's fantastic. If you're looking for a good sweet Christmas drink, you're not going to find much better. This one gives you that complete Captain Crunch type, taste in every sip. And then the Snickerdoodle alcohol really complements it well. It's one of those it's meant to be poured into it, so you really just can't tell a difference. So yeah, I'm giving high praise on this.
Old Smoky does not do wrong.
They really don't, except for Blue Lightning. That's the only
I was about to say,
really
except for the one that like you could take off an entire wall with.
Yeah.
But Trey, before we get into Red One, I have a mini review for you.
Okay.
There's a big reason for this. So from Dallas Jenkins, we have the best Christmas pageant ever. Have you heard of this?
No.
So this movie, it's based on a book. They made this movie, I think, back in the 80s at some point.
Okay.
No one's ever heard of it practically. I mean, you might have heard the book, but no one probably knows this movie.
Yeah.
So basically, think of Christmas Story, but more emphasis on the bad kids.
Okay.
Like, how they had those little neighbors next door?
Yeah.
That would always, the bumpuses that would always ruin everything?
Yep.
So in this one, we have the Herdmans. Small town. And every year at Christmas, they have a Christmas pageant.
Okay.
Everyone from the neighboring towns come.
Okay.
Because it's Christmas Eve. It's a big deal. Everyone's like, holy cow. They put on a play talking about, the nativity, the birth of Christ.
Yeah.
And something happens, and Judy Greer has to take over. And she's like, you know what? Why don't we let the Herdmans be in it? And just, bad thing after bad thing ensues.
Okay.
But it ends with a very sweet message.
Okay.
Which I like. But the reason I wanted to talk to y'all about it real quick is, Trey, do you know what the critic rating is for this currently on Rotten Tomatoes?
Not a clue.
What would be your guess?
Christmas movie. It's got a decent cast, relatively decent cast.
We got some decent people. We got old Judy Greer, like I said. We got Pete Holmes, who has been in some things.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's fair.
Okay.
It's not terrible.
I'll say this movie, under the rug kind of Christmas movie. I'm going to kind of compare it to Hallmark.
Okay.
Maybe 40%.
40% on the
40%.
critic.
Yeah.
The critic rating is currently 90%.
Wow.
What would you think the audience is?
I would probably say a little higher than critics, maybe 60s.
The audience is 98%.
Wow.
Yes, this movie on Rotten Tomatoes, if you check right now, has a 90% critic, a 98% audience.
Man, so why is no one... Then the marketing team has failed their job, because with ratings like that, this movie needs to be more recognized.
I go to the theater every week, multiple times a week. I had never seen a trailer for this. I'd never heard of it. I just happened to be on Rotten Tomatoes and saw it and was like, what are these ratings?
Yeah.
And I have to say, Rotten Tomatoes is a little wrong. It's definitely not that high.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's very good because it has that like Christmas Story aesthetic. So if you like Christmas Story, I think you'll like it. I took my mom, who's in her 70s, and loves Christmas Story.
Yeah.
And she liked it. It is very sweet. You know, it's about these little bad kids, but maybe they're not completely bad.
Okay.
And I gotta say, the one that really sold it was Beatrice Schneider as Imogen. She's the oldest sister.
Okay.
So like the parents are never there. So the kids, they, you know, they steal, they beat up other kids, they smoke cigars. Like they're
Yeah.
just bad little kids.
Yeah. Okay.
But Imogen, like that little girl, she was crushing it. And she had me laughing out loud a couple of times. Because these people are uber religious. Okay. We're talking small town, churches, everything type town.
Got it.
And so when she's in there, like taking the Lord's name in vain, and they're just you know, they get shook.
Okay.
She'll hit somebody with a "My God."
Okay, got you, buddy.
And
okay.
they get shook. So cute movie. I would say if it hits streaming before Christmas, put it on your watch list. I think we always say like a Saturday night flick for like horror movies. I think if it's around Christmas time, so like December or something, and you get your family together, you get some popcorn, some soda pops, maybe crank a fire if you have a fireplace.
Okay.
I think you will have a fantastic night.
Man, I'm really glad. I'm glad to hear you say that. So, would you say that movie is better than 60%?
I would give it that. I would put it at about a 3.7.
Okay.
Because there's a good enough message, good enough performances where the very slow start where you're like, oh, what is this straight to DVD version of Christmas Story?
Yeah.
And it works. So check it out. Best Christmas pageant ever. But I definitely don't know if you need to go to the theater.
Okay. Yeah. Fair. I'm glad to hear that. And hopefully some of the viewers pick up on that and give it a watch.
Definitely. But let's get to the main event. From Jake Kasdan, who's brought us things such as Jumanji.
Yep.
Jumanji 2. Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story.
Right.
A plethora of things. Comes Red One, where Santa Claus, played by J.K. Simmons, not hurting anybody in this movie. You know, that's nice to see him not yelling, not hurting anybody. He gets kidnapped, and we need Callum Drift, the Rock himself, and Captain America, played by the sassy Chris Evans.
Man.
Who's like the world's best finder.
Yeah.
Basically, they have to go on a mission to find him.
Oh, yeah.
And hilarity ensues.
Yeah.
Trey, what did you think of this movie?
You know, the movie was just a fun time. I think the thing I had the most trouble with this movie is who would I recommend this movie to?
That's fair.
Because there was a lot of different feelings I had in the movie, a lot of different tones. You know, when you think of a Christmas movie, Red One, about Santa, even the name doesn't really imply fully that it's Christmas. It doesn't scream. If I was like, hey, have you heard about this movie called Red One? They wouldn't think Christmas, you know? And in this movie, you'll know there's, you know, adventure.
Yeah.
There's action.
Comedy.
Definitely a little bit of comedy, emotion.
Yeah, some family stuff.
Definitely wouldn't say drama, but definitely got some emotion in there.
Emotion. Some horror.
Maybe a little bit, yeah.
Well,
I would agree.
Pinch. It's like a pinch of horror, pinch of sci-fi.
And so that is where I want to go with this, is if I said, would you recommend this to my daughter or son of like 5 years old, I would probably say no. You know, but maybe if they're like 10 to 12, I could say yes. Again, it's the tone. This movie had like a couple, it was like too old for like young people, but like maybe too young for old people.
I'll give you a perfect thing. Hear me out on this. So this guy, he did Jumanji.
Yeah.
And Jumanji, even though, you know, the original was more of a family film.
Yeah.
The second one's more of like a older child with family film. Yeah. You know, the Jumanji and Jumanji 2 that came later. And it's almost as if he took the, you know, PG-14, PG-15 feel of Jumanji, but was trying to sneak in some little kids. Yeah. So he added in some of those tonal shifts you're talking about where it's almost as if the Christmas spirit overtook him, where he's like, oh, I got to make sure that little kids can watch this. Yeah. And then he went back to like aiming for 15-year-olds and higher. Well, I'll say this, and this really is not a spoiler at all, but there is a, you know, obviously this movie is about Christmas elves, Santa Claus. So you already know there's going to be magic. Yeah.
So there is a part in this movie where someone can shrink and grow, as they want. And it was during a scene with Chris Evans. And during the movie, I was sitting there, I was thinking, am I watching one of the Marvel movies with Ant-Man and Captain America,
No, that's fair.
Together fighting? And I forgot again that this was a Christmas movie. But there's plenty to give you some Christmas feel, but it's always like on the rail. You're not like really in
it definitely has some Christmas feel, but you're right. They diverted too much of their time to the non-Christmas.
I would agree with that, but I'll say it's undeniably a fun ride. I mean, you're sitting there, you're having a good time, you're smiling, and the set pieces are incredible. They do some really cool things with some mystical characters that I'm personally am really happy they explored. It kind of gave me some like, I don't know, like old 95 Mortal Kombat feel,
so smallish spoilers, but I don't think really, because one, you find out very early in the movie, and one you see in the trailer.
Right.
But we have Krampus, his Santa Claus's brother, played by Christopher from Game of Thrones, old Redbeard, the wildling.
Yep.
And he's just this party animal. He's got all these weird creatures at his place, and they're just raving.
Yep.
And then the villain in this, Kiernan Shipka, they were like, have you done anything since Sabrina? No. Let's get you a Sabrina, but at later season where you get like really off the rails.
Yeah.
Because they have her as Gryla. Oh, don't say it too loud.
That's right.
She'll hear us.
That's right. But man, I mean, you're right. The casting, that's another good point. Casting was solid for this movie. I had a lot of fun seeing a Chris Evans in a movie like this. And he does do some drama roles, and he always does a good job. But
Spencer was a very big fan of Nick Kroll.
Yeah.
And there's a scene with Nick Kroll where she about died.
Yeah.
She was just cackling.
I was too, man. I'm not gonna lie. Well, what are your thoughts, Eddie?
I think
before cheers,
there's enough good where, and I think I might have told you this because I actually saw this twice this week. Took my old buddy Tyson, we went and saw it, and then I went with Trey and Spence.
Yeah.
And there's enough Christmas where I would put this on when I'm like decorating a tree.
Okay, yeah.
So I'll watch that opening scene. Because I love the opening scene with Santa in the mall and him and all that. And then I would start decorating the tree. I would stop for some of my favorite moments.
Right.
But it's one where I think it's a good movie, but at the same time, it doesn't imbue that Christmas spirit into me.
Let me make 2 points. First is a question. Did this get better or get worse on your second viewing, or is it about even?
I think it got a little better.
Okay, a little better.
A little better, because I told Trey one of my big issues was I felt the middle drags. Like, I love the ending.
Yeah.
Love the intro. But I think that middle is kind of sloppy.
Okay.
And it didn't affect me that much in this one.
I want to make this point because I was thinking about while you were talking. I think this is, if someone explained it to me going in, this would be the best thing to get my head in the right space. This movie, if you're a big fan of seasonal movies, kind of like Christmas, Halloween combos, maybe like a Nightmare Before Christmas. If you're a big fan of like the Nightmare Before Christmas, or maybe like Black Christmas, I mean, that's a lot darker, but it's got elements of both. Because this movie had elements where I felt like it leaned into the Halloween element.
Let me tell y'all, Trey just busted this thing wide open. Because if you were to pair this with Nightmare Before Christmas, Krampus, or maybe even you want to start light and end hard with like a Black Christmas Horror Story even, I think that would be good, because
those are great examples.
This definitely does, like with Gryla, with Krampus. Because let me tell you, he's got this big castle, and he's just like partying. Even his car, like it's a flying car, and it even like his party's like ooh,
they do a lot. I mean, the one thing I'll say about this movie too is not only is it fun, but it's imaginative, it's creative, and like I said, there's a lot of set pieces where you're just kind of like, okay, they went there, and you're
Mhm.
kind of enjoying it even more because they do.
Especially with the lore. Because,
Yeah.
like, the snowmen,
Yeah.
they explain, like, the one weakness for these snowmen that, like,
Yeah.
can't be stopped.
Right.
And you got, like, the little elf things that work for Santa. You got the big goblin things that work
Right.
for Santa. Like,
Right.
there's just a lot of funness with this.
There is. But should that take us to the cheers review?
It should. But first, I want Lil Baby to tell the viewers what your cheers review is.
Out of 5.
Out of 5.
I would say give it like a 3.6.
3.6. Okay.
It was good. I liked it. There were some funny parts. Only thing is I probably wouldn't see it in theaters. Like, this is one that
agree.
I'm like, I wish I would have just watched this at home.
I have to agree.
That's
with
very fair. Very fair criticism.
I forgot to add that this is a great Saturday night streamer. I mean,
Yeah.
especially around November, December time, I would have a blast paying, or not paying, but watching this for free.
Dude, well, even like now they do the Voodoo thing where Voodoo gets
Yeah.
a premium release.
Yeah.
Where it's like $20. We did it with Fall Guy.
If you split it depending on who's
Dude,
in the house,
If
it's
y'all,
cheap.
especially like if you don't have A-list,
Yeah,
and you're like I said, a family of like 2 and with your 2 kids,
yeah,
it's gonna cost y'all $100 to go to theater.
Yeah.
If you do it right. So pay $20, stay at home, pop you some popcorn,
Yeah.
get some soda pops,
absolutely.
go good time.
Well, and I think, not to cut you off,
No, you're
but if you do watch it at home and your house is decorated, you got the Christmas tree,
Oh.
this might feel like more of a Christmas movie.
Dude, you get you a nice candle going.
Yeah.
If you don't have a fireplace, if you have
Right.
a fireplace, highly suggest.
Yeah,
Get
exactly.
the fireplace, like Trey said. Get your lights on. Get your
Yeah.
decorations going. If you have any stuffed animals, just go ahead and like have those decorated.
That's right. Well, man, I'm gonna dive right into
Dude,
it.
hit us.
I've been thinking about it. I think my cheers rating is I think it's right around a 3.4, 3.5.
Dude, that's
I
a
mean,
solid review.
That's it's either going to be right at that 70% at a 3.5 or maybe just a hair under, but I kind of always like the Rotten Tomatoes rule. So
Yeah.
anything over a 3 is passing for us.
So with me, because I do love a lot this movie does,
Mhm.
but I do seriously have issues where it's like the old adage people would say where they're like, oh, you got to bring He-Man to Earth because it's cheaper to like just film him
Right.
on, regular Earth area. Or, oh, you got to bring Thor to Earth
Yeah.
because it's expensive to film Asgard.
Yeah.
You have this amazing Christmas movie and you spend it like not Christmas at all, except
Yeah.
for the beginning, the end, and
Yeah.
a tiny bit in the middle.
Right.
But it's still enough where I'm in like the 3.7, 3.8 range. Like
okay.
I'm like this
a little
is
higher than I thought. Okay.
because I still walk away feeling good.
oh yeah,
The movie ends well.
This is still a feel-good movie that's fun, and it does that Christmas love that you
Yeah.
always want from a Christmas movie with the ending. There's funny enough, there's definitely some scenes where I was like, I feel like they didn't have to. Like sometimes directors feel like they have to over-explain and by showing scenes where sometimes it feels like less is more. So there is definitely some of that, but I think we all agree that this is easily above a 3.
Yeah.
We all average around a 3.5
Yeah.
plus. And overall, that's a solid review for us.
Dude, overall, that puts this movie as very nice.
Yes.
But
Yes.
Trey, let's find out who's not nice. Before we get into our nice list,
All right.
let's get into the naughty list.
Uh-huh.
Who's on your naughty list, Trey? It's Christmas time. A movie is on TV.
All right.
And you're like, no, this is not going to get me in the spirit. Give me your 5 movies.
Okay, my 5 naughty list movies?
Yeah, naughty list.
Okay, my first one, and this is a trigger, is Office Christmas Party.
Oh, that movie sucks.
And the thing is, when I see that movie, I just think of work. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, corporate setting.
Yeah.
I don't even want to think about work. So that movie just doesn't feel like Christmas. It doesn't check any boxes for me, and it really wasn't even that funny. So I'll have to say that's number 5 for me.
That almost made my list.
Yeah, okay, nice. At number 4, now I think I'm going to get a lot of flack for this one, but again,
Mhm.
it's getting away from Christmas, so I'm going to have to go Christmas with the Cranks.
Oh,
Yeah.
See, I actually am a Christmas with Cranks defender.
See, yeah,
But
and
at the same time, it's very un-Christmassy, so
It
I
is.
understand that.
yeah, and they're even trying to get away from Christmas,
Literally.
you know, by doing a tropical vacation. So, yeah, that one just didn't work for me. This one's on my naughty list, not because I don't like the movie. I think the movie is decent, and we
Mhm.
saw this one together. It's just, it didn't give me that Christmas feel.
That's fair.
Violent Night.
Oh,
So surprisingly, you know, we saw it 2 years ago. David Harbour.
Yeah.
A decent movie. I'm not hating on the movie.
a decent movie, but you're right. It just, you don't feel Christmas. You
No.
feel superhero-y.
Exactly.
And I just feel they really missed the mark because the character they try and give you is like this very like regretful Santa who has become jolly because he had such a terrible past.
Yeah. And let me throw one little quick shout out back on the Red One review. I think one thing that did hinder me is, as much as I love J.K. Simmons, I just need a big, jolly old Santa Claus.
We don't need, even though I think he did good.
He did.
Because it's very different from what we're used to.
Right.
You know, like him shouting at Spider-Man.
Right.
Him slapping Miles Teller.
Right.
But, yeah.
He didn't look like Santa.
Because even David Harbour.
Yeah.
Like, we need...
Had the gut.
We need Tim Allen.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we need Kurt Russell.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what we need.
So just had to throw that out there. At number 2, one movie that I think it would be on your list as well. One that it was okay. It was a musical. It just didn't really work. Spirited.
Oh,
the Will Ferrell and the Ryan Reynolds.
I'm gonna
movie.
be dead honest. I forgot that they existed. So
Yeah.
it didn't make my list.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Oh.
And then number 1, again, not because it's the bad movie, but because it's sad. So it's not a movie I want to put on. Is Last Christmas.
Oh,
with Henry Golding. You know, again, good movie for what it was, but this list is about things that gives in the Christmas spirit. And these movies don't for me, you know.
Dude, that's fair. That is very fair.
Okay. Yeah, that's mine, man. Let me hear yours.
Okay. So mine is not ordered. I'm just telling you 5 movies.
Yeah, same.
Because these are a little more hard.
They are.
And, you know, just a peek behind the curtain of Toast to Film.
Right.
Like, we made this list just a second ago. So,
yeah.
You know, we didn't really think. We were
exactly.
Because we were trying to nail down, like, Spencer gave us a great idea of naughty and nice list, but we were trying to narrow down what's the parameter. Because that changes the list.
Right. Right.
So, I'm going to start the Star Wars Christmas special. Often regarded as one of the worst things ever made.
Yeah.
It doesn't even give you, like, I have so many Christmas specials I love to watch. Like the Psych TV show always had a great Christmas specials.
Right.
Monk had great Christmas specials. The Office.
Yeah.
You know, Benihana Christmas. Great Christmas episode.
Yeah.
But this, you just watching it and it's just pain. The whole movie's pain.
Yeah. 100%.
Next up, this was the movie I put instead of Office Christmas Party because I was like, I've only watched Office Christmas Party once, and I've never planned to. I've only watched this once. I've never planned to. I just got to pick one, and I went with The Night Before.
Yeah.
Because much like Office Christmas Party, it's just like Harold and Kumar do a better job at getting you in the Christmas spirit.
100%.
Night Before is just, it's just vulgar humor and drugs.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's it.
Right.
And it's just, terrible.
Just happens to be in December. Doesn't mean it's Christmas.
Okay, I got 2 controversial picks coming up. Very controversial.
Okay.
So I'll go with non-controversial first. Bad Santa 2.
Oh, okay.
I like the first Bad Santa. The first Bad Santa does not get me in the Christmas spirit.
Right.
But I still like it.
Yeah.
And I'll still watch it.
Yeah.
The second Bad Santa, I was like, you took every single thing I hated about the first Bad Santa and you focused on just those.
Yeah.
And made like the most just un-Christmas movie you could.
No, I don't think that's a hot take at all. I think that's
the hot takes are coming up.
Oh.
So, hot take number 1, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Oh, damn.
That makes no sense.
That
makes no sense.
not about this movie.
It makes no
It's
sense.
just I don't like the Griswolds family, like
Oh
their
my
extended
God.
family.
Mm.
You know,
Oh.
everything is just it's
Cousin
too,
Ed.
oh God.
Cousin
I just like saying
Ed.
that line to Spence, but the movie is just so cringy.
No,
I
dude,
just
it's so
I'm-
good.
But to be fair, I'm not a fan of any of the National Lampoon movies.
What, the first one?
Not really.
What?
Yeah, the Wally World one.
Yeah,
Not
you
really.
used to tell me you like that at least.
I
At
just
least...
like saying Wally World.
Oh man.
But yeah, I'm not about them.
Unreal.
They're just because they're not great people. It's kind of like watching It's Always Sunny.
That's what's so funny about it.
See,
though.
and I'm not about that.
And we love Always
especially
Sunny.
not Christmas. I want good people at Christmas.
Nah.
But okay, and my number one hot take, and y'all can crucify me if you need to. Any Christmas Carol movie.
Okay.
I think all the Christmas Carol movies, aside from Scrooged, I think you should just watch Scrooge because Scrooge is fantastic. Yeah. But like the Christmas Carol, the Muppets Christmas Carol, the CG one with Jim Carrey, the one with Patrick Stewart, just 86 them all.
Yeah.
They don't get me in the spirit. I get it, but just watch Scrooge.
Right.
Bill Murray doing his best. And I just think the Christmas Carols...
they're just overplayed at this point.
Yeah.
It's overdone, overplayed. I would probably say there's two good Christmas Carol movies. I mean, like you said, the story of, the Ghosts of Christmas Past and Future and all those, like, they are fun.
I mean, they did a Yogi Bear Christmas Carol. Yeah. They did a Flintstones.
Oh, they've
Christmas
done it
Carol.
all. They've done it
There's
all.
There's just too many.
Yeah.
And it's
a great story, but they've overplayed it.
It's the equivalent of Christmas Story on TBS.
Yeah.
Where they just play it for 24 hours. Yeah. That's what it feels like.
Exactly. I mean, good halfway list.
Yeah. This dirty dog.
But
what gets you in the spirit?
Man, we're going to go hard on this one.
Let's go.
All right.
Rock hard.
First one I got to go with because how can it not?
Okay.
Home Alone.
Okay.
The first Home Alone, it is absolutely going to get you in the spirit. When I think of that movie, I think of Christmas. And I think that's what gets you into the movie. When I think of Home Alone, I don't think of, all the burglary, all the traps and all that. I think, where's a good Christmas movie? Home Alone. It's one of the first ones I think about, and honestly, I love 2 and 3 is a sleeper. Don't let people tell you
3 is a sleeper.
3 is solid. All right. My next one, I love this movie. My parents got me on this one, so I'll always have a place in my heart. Miracle on 34th Street. And the one from 91. With right there. Yeah. Can't even think of his name.
He's pointing to my
Jurassic Park.
John Hammond.
John Hammond, yeah. He was a fantastic Santa. Fantastic.
And the little deaf girl.
Oh yeah. Yes, man. That movie is so sweet. At number 3, Rise of the Guardians.
Yeah, I knew that would be on my boys list.
That is one that is in my rotation. I would have never even seen that movie if it wasn't for Movie Stop playing it.
Yeah.
And then I loved it. At number 2, Christmas Vacation.
Oh God.
I mean, how could it not be the true right list and answer here? And at number 1, because what else could be number 1? When you think of this movie, you think of Christmas. That's Die Hard.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah, brother.
Die Hard is the ultimate Christmas movie.
Are you being serious?
Yeah, it's on my list.
Hell yeah, brother. Let me tell y'all, okay, before I get to my list, because I recently shut down someone on TikTok where they were talking about Christmas movies. Let me tell y'all the difference real quick, okay? Between a holiday film and a Christmas film. A holiday film takes place during Christmas time. So Lethal Weapon, Batman Returns. But Christmas is not essential to the plot. Die Hard, much like Gremlins, is a Christmas film because John McClane is in town to see his family for Christmas.
Yeah.
They are at a Christmas party.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh yeah, but you could change it to Arbor Day and it'd have the same plot. I'm like, yeah, and guess what? You can make Jaws Barney the dinosaur and it'd have the same plot. But you have to take the movie for what it is.
The director came out and even said about 5 or 6 years ago, he officially came out and said it is a Christmas movie.
Yeah. So
the director himself.
So just remember, holiday film takes place during Christmas, but Christmas is not essential to the film. Whereas a Christmas film like Die Hard, like Gremlins,
Mm-hmm.
Christmas is essential to the plot.
Absolutely. Because, like I said, this movie wouldn't even have happened if it wasn't a
He'd
Christmas
be in New
party.
York, like
Yeah.
busting somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, he would have shoes on.
Right.
Al would be getting Twinkies still, probably.
Yep.
No matter what it was.
Yep. I know 2 or 3 on your list.
You probably know most of them.
I think
All
I
right.
know.
So, first movie, the original Rankin Bass, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Okay, didn't know that.
I love the original, like, old, like, 60s Christmas movies.
Yeah.
You got your Frosty, you got Santa Claus coming down, you got Rudolph, you got the original Grinch.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just, Rudolph has always had a place in my heart. I love the Island of Misfit Toys. I love the songs. You know, Clarice. He had a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Don't forget. Maybe I'll have a girlfriend one day. But next up, and this one, it was in my top, I think it was my number 1 movie the year it came out. And I have watched it every Christmas since. I watch it multiple times because you just watch it and you feel every part of your soul become Christmas. And that is Arthur Christmas. Just great,
solid
animated movie. Arthur is the embodiment of Christmas through and through. And you got to watch it if you haven't. Arthur Christmas. I think it's on Max right now.
Okay, yeah. A solid movie.
Next up, I already referenced this one, but Scrooged.
Mm-hmm.
I just love Bill Murray
Yeah.
in this role as Scrooge.
Yeah.
And I love him at the end when he's just bawling his eyes out, giving that speech where he's talking about, like, you know, Christmas, the way you feel at Christmas when you give someone a gift. You can feel like that year round. It doesn't have to be one night. And I just love his speech.
Yeah.
So next up, It's a Wonderful Life. One of my all-time favorite movies.
Yep.
George Bailey, who I aspire to be. That movie, you know, me and my dad would watch every Christmas day.
Yeah.
No matter what. We'd open gifts.
Yeah.
We'd have breakfast while watching It's a Wonderful Life. And me and my dad would both just be crying.
Man.
Old Ed, you know, he was a giant, but he'd be just sitting there bawling his eyes out, you know, with George Bailey. And
great movie, man.
Quick shout out also, It's a Very Merry Muppet Christmas Movie. That is the Muppet version of It's a Wonderful Life where Kermit the Frog's going to commit suicide.
Oh.
Great movie if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
You know, very good Muppet movie. And then It's a Wonderful Knife, the horror version of It's a Wonderful Life. Also great movie. Shout out to Bernie. Bernie number 1. But if you want to talk about a movie that's going to get you in the Christmas spirit.
Right.
You want to talk about a movie with, like Trey was talking about earlier, you want a good Santa.
Yeah.
You want the best Santa you've ever seen. The beard, the belly. Somebody that feels like they love and will do anything to make the children happy.
Right.
Then you got to pop on from Netflix, The Christmas Chronicles.
Wow. At your number 1.
Christmas Chronicles, man. There's something, they did everything right with that movie.
I will say, if this was a top 10 list, Christmas Chronicles would have made it. It might have been number 10, but it would be in there.
Your Rise of the Guardians is my Christmas Chronicles.
Well, but here's the thing. Both of those movies scream Christmas.
Yeah.
And the Christmas Chronicles, the whole movie, you're feeling the Christmas cheer from Santa. And he's the embodiment of what we've always been taught, magic. He's just magical.
I love the scene where he's in the restaurant and he's walking up to people and he knows everything about them. Yeah. You know, he can recollect anything from their childhood.
The jail scene.
The jail scene's great. The interrogation scene. Yeah. Where it's like, we checked you. Yeah, you did.
But you didn't check twice.
Yeah. Always check twice. But guys, we just hope y'all enjoy. We have a lot of stuff planned. We have a lot of Christmas lists planned. Yep. Trey is back, if you haven't noticed.
We're back.
You know, little baby's back. Peyton's back. The whole gang's here. Jerfy, Choo Choo. That joker. Every Choo Choo keeps getting louder, Trey.
I know.
You got to see one live.
It does.
But we just hope y'all stay tuned. And we have, next week, we'll have Gladiator 2.
Yep.
You know, we got some good stuff coming out. I'm seeing Wicked next week. So I'll probably talk about Wicked. And who knows? You never know what we'll talk about.
Hey, but maybe Nosferatu, Christmas Day.
Oh, yeah. Nosferatu. Yeah. Talk about a Christmas movie.
I'm telling you.
You know, girls screaming and Nicholas Holt running with a torch. Christmas right there.
Right.
Find out it's not actually Nosferatu. It's the new Christmas Carol. It's like,
It's
oh God,
Krampus.
here's another
It's
one.
Krampus.
But the best ways, check us out, is follow us on TikTok and on Instagram, a Toast to Film, all one word. Follow us on Twitter at film_toast, or check us out on lovely YouTube, where you can see this freshly clean shaven face over here with this guy. And we just wish you a good night
and good viewing.
Bam.